I think this strategy is going to be the most profitable crypto strategy over the next couple of months. And if you want the simple truth to this strategy, it is to basically buy like there is no tomorrow. Except for the fact that you kind of shouldn't all in all at once, but just continue to buy. And that brings us to the topic of today. Really, when I look back at some of the previous mistakes I've made, I've lost millions of dollars off of very simple, trivial things. And all it comes down to is just, really, when the market is good, you think it's going to stay good, right? But that's on the up days. So you add, you buy more, you long harder when things are on the up and up and up. But then the moment things start calming down, you feel as if this ain't right. As if the market is going to absolutely crash, or that you might have made a mistake. You get it. And I've spoken to a few people over the past few days, and they all feel the same way. And I realize, this is probably something universal. If, especially, you've got leveraged positions, you feel as if when the market goes against you, that you were just wrong, it's going to go to zero, you should have not done that, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗐𝗕. So many people have that. And I realize that that feeling is completely logical. Essentially, the reason we think longing in a bull market is really a good idea is because you essentially think that whatever is happening now will continue on. And so even though you basically start that when prices are significantly lower for the most part, right? Because again, the bull market is about 3 years, bear market about 1 year. You essentially still think because the trend is there, it's going to continue. But also logically, if the trend then, even just for a day or so, seems to reverse, you always still have this feeling of, this is where things are going to start going back around, or it was really not the peak 𝗕𝗁𝗂𝗍 yet. It wasn't there yet. We can't see it. 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪🔬. But the funny thing is, if you just get those thoughts, you should always just look back at the Bitcoin chart, or really almost any crypto chart for that matter, if it's in the top of the top. Because the funniest thing is, people always have these emotions, which is also why there's some pretty good swings in that. And just now, there was a lot of fear because an old Bitcoin whale sold a ton of coins, and that's why prices came down. But when you really start breaking it down, almost every single one of these dumps, it liquidates a ton of people, it wrecks a lot of people, a lot of them who had slightly too much risk, but most people who are just really kind of a little bit scared and weren't actively buying on the way down. But if you look at the winners, there's a ton of winners. All they really were doing was just buying into the fear. And there's this very well-known saying of buy when there's blood in the streets. Thus far, for most of our top cryptos, it has always worked. And that's really something funny that's hard to get into your head. Yes, there may be fear. Yes, there may be the idea of, but what if I'm wrong? What if the market goes down? What if? If you are able to get through that, and you realize the drawdown on average in a good market like this has never been that high. If you're able to get through that, if you got wrecked the first time, you add again. If you got wrecked, you add again. If you keep that up, it is almost, in my opinion, and this is a personal opinion, not financial advice. I make no guarantees in this video. I will never guarantee you any results. It's almost always worked. I don't want to say the guarantee word. You understand what I mean? But basically, since the market is at an all-time high, it worked for the same for the S&P. You know how many people come up to me and say investing is risky? And I don't get it, because thus far it has always worked, always, for all of our lifetimes. I can essentially get what people say risky because you might buy in today and it might go down tomorrow. But again, don't look at the tomorrow, look at 10 years from now, and it's thus far always done well. And I think cryptos will be in a similar fashion, where I had a big discussion yesterday about why crypto, and they basically asked me, what is the proposition? It's way too risky, right? And I keep saying, well, if you're in it all this time, if you look at the stock market, right, and you're investing all your life, you can't get why a person would not buy maybe specific stocks. And with me, I've been in crypto for like almost a decade, looking at it every single day. I don't get how people look at this and think, this is definitely going to go down tomorrow. There have been many people who said that, and thus far they've all been wrong. Now, again, it's a non-zero chance, but I like to take my odds there. I like to go hard at it, take a little bit more risk, especially when the timing is set for it, because if I lose, I lose. But it was very much worth the upside potential. I don't think there's really, for most of us, there's not been this easy of an opportunity with this much upside with relatively limited downside. I'm going to say for a lot of the opportunities that have this much potential, the downside was way greater. And that's why people call this one of the greatest transfers of wealth, because it's also an opportunity that's easy for most of the average Joes. Almost anybody can get in, even with like freaking $10 or whatever, right? And I tell you my story of how I started. I've told you this a lot of times. It was because I won a little giveaway. So somebody gave me something. My first crypto adventures really were not because I bought a ton and all of a sudden it became worth a lot more. It is grinding with a few dollars. But if I look back to our time, yes, the market was a bit lucky in that sense. But really, when you start breaking it down, if you're looking at this video right now, you're pretty lucky on the timing as well, because for the most part, we expect the market to still be pretty freaking good for the next couple of months. And that made me realize, you know, you've seen me put a couple $1 million in these bots and the position over, oh, let me quickly refresh. I was going to say, and the position here over on 𝗏𝗏, right, on a various amount of different coins. But I just had an epiphany. I have to go even harder. Like, so I'm literally going to fly to a different country just to access some of the older funds. And I'm going to be adding like a madman. And what that basically means for me is, well, first of all, these bots, I realize they're way too freaking good. All right, and if you do not know, I've always got a link down below that's like a tutorial of when I bought $500,000 worth of XRP in Bitcoin. But I might also link something else that's more of a tutorial-y. And again, I'm not recommending you to do anything, right? I'm just explaining my story, because a lot of people like to know what exactly I'm going to be doing. And for example, this 10K to $1 million challenge, I realize now, hey, you know what? I can actually just cash out these grid profits. It's almost 5%, and we compound every 5%. Just cash it out by releasing the profit, and then actually just reinvesting it without pressing this compound button. But all of these, really, when I start breaking it down, most of them were at a loss for a long duration. But in the end, it was successful. Why? Partially because I was able to cash out these grids, but also because partially, I still believe that we have not seen the peak of the bull market. So all, in my opinion, I just got to continue on doing is getting myself bigger and bigger position. Where to add is the more tricky question. There are two main theories. Theory number one is you basically buy into the momentum. For example, you've seen right now the price has started to tick back up. So the moment we see a slight little tick downwards, or even as these candles are being formed, we try to buy into all of that. So you're basically trying to go with whatever the trend is doing, right? So maybe, again, like I said, either when the pump is going or when it's a slight bounce in a pump direction instead of towards the downside. The counter would be, you can actually, theoretically speaking, also try to buy all the falling knives. So you try to buy every single time it goes lower, which in this case could have been, your average price was here, let's say 317 or something, which makes you in profit slightly right now. Then again, you could have gotten a slightly better entry perhaps if you waited for a bottom, saw when the price slowly but surely started trending back upwards, then try to get in at one of the bottoms and go and let it ride from there. Both of them work. Both of them are just slightly different strategies depending on what you prefer. And theoretically speaking, if the asset is mostly upwards anyway, well, where can you really go and make a mistake? It's only if you're over leveraging it going a bit crazy, which is why I hedge myself. And keep in mind, nothing I say here is financial advice. It's just, I want you to look at the charts, look at the market, look at how things have performed and realize that the fear is the biggest mistake you can probably make. I mean, fear is always good, especially when you're entering risky things, right? You should always be a bit cautious, but to some extent. Because what I see for most people is they fear the gains more of everything else. That's, of course, a little joke. But they fear too much that their intuition or their thoughts were wrong. It keeps them from buying the dip. It keeps them from entering lower. They just like to add when things are high. And so to some of those people, I'd say maybe think or rethink the strategy to think more along the lines of, hey, market's red, when the overall market is green, those are where your best opportunities lie instead of the opposite. And way too many people, they buy high and sell low for some reason. Yesterday, I spoke to somebody and he literally told me he lost on Bitcoin because he sold it, right? Because he got scared. And that's the thing. He didn't really realize what he was holding. He just bought it because somebody told him about it. And that's another tricky thing, right? If you're borrowing conviction is what I always call it. You don't believe in something, which tends to cause you to sell really quickly when the market goes against you a little bit because you don't understand the overall trend. Thus far, the trend has always been your friend. And again, like I said earlier, I diversify myself by hedging, basically by having all these slower, constantly selling positions going on as well. I think it's one of the best things that I've ever decided to do. And again, it could actually be as easy as just every single time XRP falls to one of your key levels, for example, here at 305, we just risk it for the biscuit. We buy in hard. In this case here, we were able to buy slightly lower as well. But let's just say we buy in hard, and then every single time it gets back to resistance, we can decide to sell a little bit if we overdid it a bit by buying a bit too much, right? In this specific case, we could have bought 305. Yes, it would have been kind of ugly here as it went to 295. But right now, just a few days after, right? 2 days after, we're back to 322. Really, really beautiful setup. We talked about this before, though. But the same thing applies again. The moment it comes back to perhaps starting at 310, maybe towards 305, we can enter again if it were to come back. There's a chance, of course, that it bursts through and goes crazy, which is why I don't like to sell my full position. But it also depends. If, for example, on the market move down, we really bought hard, we might at this point not be fully comfortable. It is sometimes wiser to keep yourself more liquid rather than just keep holding through the freaking moves all through. But it all depends on you as well. It depends on how big your bankroll is. Depends on how low you think it's going to go. And in my book, I kind of think the lowest of the lowest scenarios is maybe about, I don't expect it to go below like $2.80. But in one of the lowest scenarios, I think like $2.60 perhaps. So as long as I'm basically strategically placing my money for that type of scenario, I think I'm going to be golden. Of course, you could be wrong, but that's the anomaly then at that point, right? Anyway, I really still hope to see this at least $1 million plus over the next coming weeks. And people will laugh at it now thinking, oh, it's not. Let's see, all right? Maybe, perhaps, I'm going to be adding a significant more capital if we get another good drop going. But I prefer to do that if Ethereum actually breaks the all-time high. And after that, we get a slight little drop going because Bitcoin, everything starts to fall. Really, the market, in my opinion, is really super strong here because Bitcoin fell back to 115, but ETH still stood really, really strong. Most alts didn't even fall at all. And it tends to be that when the market is bad, the moment that Bitcoin drops a little bit, that's also kind of what we expected here. Everything is going to have a good fall, but they didn't, which shows a lot of strength, which to me shows these are going to break out and go crazy. But of course, the short term, you never really know, right? You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, but we do have a good idea of what's going to happen over the next few months. But yeah, that's about it. Again, not financial advice. If you also want to trade on all these platforms, links are down below to Payonix, the bot one, or here you can see Blowfin. It's the one I have my main trades on. Check it out. Links are down below.